Okay. Good morning, Ari.
Morning, Kim.
Let's start the day by talking about the team. What's going on with the people of Pepelwerk?
According to Career Services Activity Report, 3 employees are currently skilling for their goal jobs. 1 employee is 10% away from reaching goal income.
Okay, well that's interesting. Well, if they're tagging their goal jobs, then let's go ahead and recommend the courses that we want them to use to close their skills gap. I mean, obviously they can choose what they want. And then, what'd you say about Chase?
Chase is requesting a mentor and
Okay, well, if Chase wants a mentor, let's add that to the access code for everyone to be able to, match with their mentor, because obviously that's what they want. And then what about me?
Okay, Kim. I'll switch from WorkHub view to your People app to see what recommendations I have for you today. HR administration is a declining skill and Excel proficiency is too low. I recommend you choose one of the recommended in-demand skills to add to your learner profile so you can get ahead of any potential skills gap.
Okay, well, I don't want those skills. If those skills are obsolete and not trending to keep my job secure for the next few years, let me add that to my goals and then my learner profile. Okay, cool. So the team we were taking care of, I know what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and get in the car and talk about work. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, Ari, let's go. You first. Right. Okay, Ari, go ahead and start telling me about what's going on with the company. How are we doing?
WorkHub activity for Pepelwerk is good today. With the recent intern program, it looks like your community impact is 4 out of 5.
Okay, so how many people are in a workforce building versus, well, before I take off, so tell me.
The managers have built your talent pipeline with potential hires at least 6 months in advance through workforce building.
Well, if they don't match with attributes, I mean, I don't want to mess with the match because obviously attributes are more important than necessarily skills, and we can close the skills gap. And then tell me about career services.
We've already reviewed your career services activities. However, according to your predictive analytics dashboard, you have a few jobs that have a significant skills gap in the market. I think we should work on those today.
Okay, well, good. All right. Well, with that, we'll be off. We'll head to the office. It's so exciting to know how technology can pretty much level up life if we let it, and actually if we work better together with it. And really, that's what Pepelwerk is all about. It's bringing organizations and people together so that you know exactly what each other needs and wants, and using technology to really make better connections and communications and understanding. It's going to be fascinating for us to see as Pepelwerk and as our customers and people who are joining into this pretty phenomenal change to see what happens in the next year, 2 years, or 3 years to help people evolve with work. Because obviously in the past 40 years, I am in my mid-40s, I've been able to grow up with this tech, and I'm really excited to use tech in a different way. All right, Ari, you have a seat there, and I'm going to go in there and start work. All right, everyone. So obviously we know it's hot right now. It's the presidential election. It should be hot. There's only a few things that I think might pertain to us. So I actually got it kind of set up for our conversation today. So we'll see what our 2 presidential candidates have to say about work and education. I'm just going to cast it from my Samsung to the TV.
You know what it reminds me of? When they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe. The student loans, and then I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out, and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea. And how unfair that would have been, part of the reason they lost, to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free.
So battle of who gained more jobs, who lost more jobs, who improved the taxes, et cetera, et cetera. Same conversation, different candidates, maybe, I don't know, maybe same thing, different year. So let's talk about what we think how this is going to affect our business and our customers, like our individuals who are out there trying to build their future. I don't even know what this has to do with that, but I mean, maybe you guys have an opinion. So any opinions out there about what we should be looking for, researching for our companies, for our nonprofits, for our individual users? What are we thinking?
I think for our individuals, just getting more skills underneath this, because I don't know how the job market's gonna go, and I wanna be prepared no matter what outlet it takes. It's no secret there's tons of layoffs, and it's no secret that education prices are super high for if you go to like a 4-year degree or anything like that, and they're not guaranteeing you jobs anyway. So for me, it's just what can I do to keep my skills relevant, and I just wanna hope that I'm available for when the jobs do come, that I could do at least 2 or 3 of those jobs to help myself. I don't even know how to respond because I can't take the back and forth seriously. It's almost like an entertainment reality show. And you can't not watch that and not think, what are they talking about? Or are they talking about something actually? And so that's probably my reaction to that overall as a whole. And that's not even including what's actually important, which is the upskilling and the job searching and the job market, the economy. You can't, it's really hard to focus on the things that are important by watching this debate, but it was still a good time. And I hope you guys got some laughs and maybe some information out of it too.
I think that's so practical, and I'm so curious as to why that wasn't even part of their conversation. Like the future of work is coming, but we're gonna debate about what happened 8 years ago, 12 years ago that influenced that. So that means that we probably need to do some research on how the legislation is going to change around education and skilling. So that might be something that we need to look for. And I know that Ashley, you're working on some of the grant connection to what the Department of Labor is doing. So maybe what's going on there? Do you want to provide an update?
You know, there's a lot available for us, so I think my focus in the next 6 months is going to be to chase all the money that we can find in grants for upskilling and for building our workforce. And if that changes in 6 months, we'll be ready to pivot and chase what's available in 6 months. But for now, let's go after what we know we can get.
That's a very good point. I think last year we found out something like $9 billion wasn't used. I mean, the budget that these guys are talking about, slicing and dicing 5 ways from Sunday, people don't even know that this money is out there. You've collected the taxes, and obviously they're not out there. So I think that being focused on making sure that we can basically be that resource for our customers and users is the right thing to do, regardless of who wins that conversation. So what's happening in the social world? Is this still trending? Are people even caring about what the presidents are thinking about education?
It is
what?
all over social media, the presidential debate. But you brought up layoffs, and we talked about in the previous meeting how this year's 37% higher than the past 5 years, which works because that's this week's content theme. And the amount of things that I'm finding off of this presidential debate and the previous ones, I mean, it's so much external stuff that we can post.
After watching the presidential debate, the little section that we did, my plan of action is find all the content out of it that I can post on X and trying to get conversations flowing, because from what I've seen on the internet, it's just all the funny bits from the presidential debate and nothing about like the job numbers, the layoffs, none of that stuff. And so I wanna get conversations flowing on people work, socials like X, for example. And so that's gonna be what my plan of action is, just finding all the clips and doing the research and finding out what people are saying about it and just seeing how I can start driving the conversation so people can start thinking about the social side of it and not just the funny side of it.
Not saying politically what the change is, but socially what we are expecting and what we can help be the voice of our customers, right? So if our next generation is saying, like, why are there two 80, what was it, 86 and 82? There were the ages at the end, they were asking about their health. 86 and 82, hey, I'm be glad to be super presidential at that age for sure. But I don't know if their mind frame understands what you're facing right now. I'm already halfway through the government's impact to my life, but you are now the brunt of it. You and anybody coming up behind you, you're the brunt of all of these people's decisions. So I mean, we might want to have something about that on the people side. Like, it's not about, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't think it's about politics. It's about functional conversations so that we get past, I don't know. Yeah,
well, and
past
back
the
to
noise.
the SEO. So whenever Jason's looking for the SEO, like, how much of that is it's noise and viral and just kind of
Clickbait,
funny, right?
yeah.
Yes. Which at the same time, it's just, again, noise. And people are not able to focus on the real issues or the meat of what we should be looking at, what's going to impact us in the future as individuals and organizations.
I was gonna say, yeah, because like I've watched some of it, and I know other people in their young 20s have watched it. The only conversations I'm hearing come out of the political debates is the funny stuff out of it, not how's it gonna impact us.
Yeah.
Is the issue.
The
Like,
world
that's what
has
I've been
become
noticing.
unserious.
Yeah, it's just very much like the golf, and then the whole he talks about the bleach, and then like it's just like that's what I've been seeing a lot on my social media, and like other people talking about is not the debate itself, but just the funniness out of it.
Well, there could be I love that you said that, and I think it's our responsibility to be responsible about the conversations that we're provoking. And I don't know if half of that is because people don't know how to use their words in the social media sense, because they're waiting for somebody to clap back at them or be a troll or whatever. And
freedom of speech is very touchy right now.
yeah, and that could be why, like, if you're going to lean on something socially, it's okay to lean on something funny. But if you want to lean on something to ask a fair question, you're going to get, super crickets. One, obviously, people like to make fun of people, which is awful. But I think that's another. Like, I don't know if in lunch with Leslie or in conversations with our prospects or in conversations with our existing customers or when we're helping them with the workforce building or when you're trying to relate to them through our social voice and when Jason is trying to make sure that we're like available to them. I don't know if we're the safe space. And you know what I mean? Like, we're the safe space to have the conversations about what impacts them most. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't have to work unless they're a farmer. Okay, hey, Rebecca, I think somebody's here for an in-person interview.
That's our 1 o'clock. Let's see. Okay. So he is here for our culture and community engagement specialist position, and his talent profile shows that he's a 71% match. Cameron Jones, human resources, a recruiting background, areas of interest are an alignment, and attributes include charismatic, natural communicator, and determined.
Okay, cool. Well, it looks like he's a possible match. So I'll leave you guys to it. You and Angela have your interview, and I'll catch up with you afterwards. So I think we all got our to-dos, which is great. So let's make sure that you put it all in your task plan, and that we are following up with it. And then we'll follow up in what's today? Today is Thursday, so most of this would have to be real time. So we want to make sure that we have the content, the production, the conversation layout, and then try some of the other tough question conversations. Obviously as soon as possible, but most of this you need to action before next Tuesday. That would make sense. So Jason, your SEO is going to connect with Kara's work. I think you're kind of independent in your research, and then you two would have to make sure you're having the right organizational conversations, and then you need to make sure that you're reviewing your flow with maybe Angela to make sure that you're okay. All right, well, the world may not be ready for a presidential change, but I think we are. Bye, everyone. Have a great afternoon. All right, Ari, let's go. See you later.